I moved into the apartment because it was cheap. That was it. No romanticized story of starting over or finding myself. Just pure desperation. The rent was laughably low for the city, and the landlord seemed almost too eager to hand me the keys. I should have known better, but when you're a struggling artist, cheap outweighs suspicious every time. The building was ancient, a 6-story corpse of creaking wood and cracked plaster. My unit was on the 4th floor, and the first thing I noticed when I moved in was the smell. Musty, damp, like wet cardboard left out in the sun too long. It clung to the walls, the furniture, even my clothes. But I ignored it. The space was mine, and for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Inspiration hit almost immediately. I'd been in a slump for months, staring at blank canvases and wondering why I'd ever thought art was my calling. But here, something shifted. My first night, I had this vivid dream. A woman standing at the edge of a riverbank, her dress fluttering in the wind. Her face was so clear, her eyes filled with a sadness that felt like it belonged to me. When I woke up, I couldn't shake her image. I dragged myself to my easel and started painting. Hours passed like minutes, and when I finally stepped back, her face stared back at me, almost alive. It was the best work I'd done in years, and it felt effortless, like the painting had flowed through me, not from me. But then things got strange. The dreams kept coming. Every night, a new face, a new scene. A man in a rain-soaked alley clutching a briefcase. A woman sitting at a vanity, her face obscured by a veil. I painted them all, each one more detailed and lifelike than the last. And then I noticed something that sent a chill down my spine. One night, after finishing a particularly haunting portrait of an elderly man with hollow eyes, I decided to take a break. I grabbed my phone and idly scrolled through the news. That's when I saw it. A picture of the man I'd just painted, staring back at me from a missing persons report. I froze. It had to be a coincidence, right? A trick of the mind? But then I started digging. Every face I'd painted over the last 2 weeks matched someone who had disappeared in the city. Every single one. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't go to the police. What would I even tell them? That I'd been dreaming about missing people and painting their portraits. They'd think I was insane, and maybe I was. But then the dreams changed. Instead of showing me people in their lives, I started seeing their deaths. The elderly man. I saw him being dragged into the river by shadowy hands. Each dream ended with their final moments, and each morning I painted what I saw, unable to stop myself. It was like something was guiding my hands, forcing me to capture their pain, their terror. The more I painted, the more the apartment seemed to close in around me. The walls felt alive, breathing, watching. The worst part was the latest dream. I saw myself, standing in this very room, at this very easel. The paintbrush in my hand trembled as I stared at my reflection in the mirror across the room. But it wasn't just me. Behind me stood a figure, its face obscured, its hands resting on my shoulders like it owned me. I woke up screaming. Now I'm sitting here staring at a blank canvas, knowing what's coming. My hands are trembling, but the brush is already in my grip. I can feel the figure behind me, its breath on the back of my neck. I don't know what it wants, but I know this. I'm the next painting.